Okay, so I think I'll just run this and see what it says. Did I put the debugger on? I think I did. It will have quite a bit to compile, in a way. I'm including a bunch of stuff for this. Possibly more than I need. I think I could maybe have less than just STD, than all of STD. I think yeah. It's quite a compile, mind you. If this works perfectly, it should do nothing. Okay. Our render products are render exe. So, now, okay, so there's our render. Well, what I'm tempted to do is just say R I. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, so I guess command line is the whole line? Didn't crash, just did as I asked. That's pretty cool in a way. Now, can I do something here? Alright, application name rrender. Okay, well, well, I suppose I know what to do then, really. And that is std outing what I'm getting in. Well, what I'm asking. I am so I have no excuse except but to persevere. I know there's a way. I'm sure there's a way. Excuse me, I'm sure there's a way to change the command line. You can build it from here with a command line thing, but I don't suppose that is essential. I can what can I do? What I really am providing this with is a file name to save as. It's going to look automatically in somewhere. I will look up where it's going to look. Output image. Yeah. it's just going to look in its own directory for a project called render, because I'm going to put the rrender executable inside the same directory as the recursor when I have this working. So I can test this by just making a project called render with my recursor and never clicking the render buttons because they won't work, but just saving it and just using it. Yeah. So let me think about just what needs to happen. I'll leave this here. Look for project render in app directory. So interesting. Look for project render in app directory. You know what? I am using Mojo. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because there's just little things I keep remembering. I was just seeing that out the corner of my eye and thinking, that's not right. Okay. Look for project render in app directory and load it. Get temporary for images. Maybe. Sometimes that might not be required actually. Well, render it. Like, this might not be very complicated, but I'm just having a bit of a mind fog as I look at these things. It's a hideous source now and could use folded up a bit. Basically, from main, I'm going to load the project. Why don't I just have a little think about that? If okay, well, no, that's it. That's the main thing. It's not going to do anything if okay, I won't even bother saying that. Equals, oh, is it open? I suppose I could be doing this the other way. This is just a I'd never really think about this. But this is just a function. It's the program and it's a function. So now I'm saying if project render single, else, we'll just make that explicit, and if project equals render single, then what I need to do is say out file global out file string equals out file equals in right I keep on what options do I have? Trim end, trim start. No, okay, yeah. I think I do want to use right. From W string. I'm just doing a cast and it seems to be working. To lower starts with contains. Maybe I could just use a slice. From tail. I think I could, but I'm not going to. In length minus something, and I will start with 1. But what will it really be? If this is called rrender and I expect a space, yeah, because I will construct the command that way. I expect a space and then just a file name. Then whatever length the thing is, I need to count. Right, so it's the number of characters along the right, which I usually have to remind myself exactly what I'm doing, and I will. I'll just do this thing of doing. Yeah, sure, purple. Let's say it is R. Right, and I'm writing with a mouse here, so space A M A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 will be the length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the number of characters in the lead-in, and 3 is the number of characters I want. So it's the length minus 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm always getting like out by 1 kind of errors, and rrender is 7. Yeah, so as long as it's called rrender, I think that is going to be okay. Anyway, so if outFile single is true, do I really just say output image out file? And here, do I really just say output anim out file? In a way it looks kind of like it just because the way I built this. It's going to try and make a temp directory. It's going to create debug rights. Debug rights are basically prints. You know, there's a bit of stuff in there to put a line number and use some tabbing stuff if you want to. Right, well, how can I test this? Okay, sorry, I went just totally blank there. First, I'll go up here and I'll say if in length is less than 8, return. If it is 8, then it'll take the right and it's 0. If out file equals to dit, return. Not sure how much sort of stuff to build in here, but I'll just make it like that. So if for some reason out file has just got nothing, just return. But if it does have this value of dit return, nah, it's not liking if not out file. I suppose this is because I'm not quite sure what out file is. I think it's a struct. I think the strings are structs. Oh, I know why it's not liking it, mind you. It's because I can't recognize a lowercase f. Right, so what I'm trying to get this to do is to compile, but do nothing. So that I can then go back into my command line and set it up with the situation and see if it just produces a file. Okay, fine. Some things I'm curious about. Is products, Windows. And it's a 2 megabyte thing. Probably bigger than it needs to be. Anyway. Well, let's see. Okay. Now, the reason I'm loath to do this next bit is it involves actually running this. And running this, I almost expect it not to work. Yeah, here we go. Problem. Where on earth am I, even? Well, I know what the problem is. This is now cursor GUI work zone. Yep. And this is now render process. This is really just, none of this works or does anything sensible. Okay, got through a few bits. I am really expecting this just to go into stupidity. So what am I wanting to do here? I'm wanting to make a simple project, save it, get into the command, well, change its name to render, get into the command line, and run my render, and see if it will pick up the project, interpret its contents right. I'm only going to be able to do a single frame render, I realise, even if this does ever compile, because that's the default value of the project when it gets saved, and the only place I'm determining that. Actually, well, I can hardly believe it's running, to be fair, after all the little changes I've just made. But 11 recursions, you know, I could just do this. I could just save this project as where do I need to save it? I need to go to here, code. I should really have taken down the number of recursions that's rendering back there while I did this. And save it as render. And now so look at that, there it is. According to this, let's just see. Okay, CD, documents, code, cursor, products, Windows. Okay, I need to think about where I want to put this file. Render. And I want to call it phew.png. Well, now I did do quite a few, 11 recursions, so I'm expecting... Oh, I've got the debugger on as well. So even with the debugger off, I have to recompile this with the debugger off for starters. I think this would have been like a 30-second, 40-second render with the debugger off. I'm delighted to have seen a little bit of output. That is a delighting thing, yeah. With this, if I can get this working, with this code on the outside, in my mind, it makes it a lot easier just to try out different types of code, basically. Try out different renderers, just by compiling different versions of this code. And in fact, I guess replace renderers without having to restart the recursor. This is taking a long time. I do have to remember how I did a render of this, that same project, like I say, and it was up to 30 seconds for one of the larger, or for one of the frames with longer lines in it, I should say. And that was with the debugger off. So if it took 30 seconds, it's not unusual for it to take 5 times as long or so. Which is pretty silly of me to not think of. And pretty silly of me to not think of just using fewer recursions in this occasion. Wow, I'm quite embarrassed. This is the point it would pause. I don't think it's causing a problem. There's 2 spaces there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. And I didn't think about this very well, did I? Okay, right, just go away. Forget it. I changed my mind about everything. What did I do wrong there? I put in an extra space, didn't I? Here's some things I want to do differently. First off, I want to compile this in release mode. And what I want to do is... Oh, it stopped my... I suppose what I could do is I could go to Windows, Cursor, Main Products, Windows, Main. Get my cursor back. I don't like the fact that it does that. And I must bear it in mind that I want a GUI, not a console executable. Look at that. When it's going slow, it doesn't like resizing. This is with the debugger. This is with the debugger on. It should really be going faster than this. This is taking a long time. I mustn't forget that I am. Well, well, well. Okay, right, I made an error there. I tried to render main. It's not what I meant to do. And it probably didn't like me running it there. I'm going to just render that again. Compile that again. Okay. Now running with the debugger off. So I'll close that. Fine. This is the one I really want compiled to release mode. Big long compile again. It would be very good to get this going. I do have the upcoming problem. Like, I think that with this program run as a process from the recursor, I can get this program to communicate with the recursor okay. My problem is going to be when this program launches FFmpeg. and how I get ffmpeg to communicate with this program okay. But that might be okay. At least that communication will be in the hands of this program. I can have this program pop stdouts back to, okay, thank you, back to the recursor. So now I want to run the recursor. So I've double clicked on main to make it the build file. So here I have this again. And I will save it as code recursor render products Windows render save. Yes, I do. Only 8 recursions, and the renderer has the is compiled with the debugger off. So documents code recursor products Windows dir. Just this is a pain in the arse to do. It's put another space in. It's also creating an animation. Okay, so the default is obviously create an animation. It's calling this Windows 0. Why is it calling it Windows? I do not know that. But, more importantly, it's still going to generate an error. I want to take everything from the last space. Okay, I'm going to stop it. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your renders, which have sort of worked. Okay, I am going to have to call it a day for just now, or at least a video for just now. Next time I will sort it out so that it's not going to crash when creating a file name for its output.